Hello, my name is Brandi Hofer, your host and founder of Color Me Happy, a community podcast and book, all of which I started in my in-home studio whilst in the throes of motherhood. I am an artist, author, educator, and mother to 3 beautiful boys. We live and create together in our in-home studio that is tucked away in the quiet Canadian prairies. Our podcast and community was built to empower and inspire. We chat about everything from motherhood, the art world, business, and health in the most honest and authentic way. It's totally unedited and unfiltered. If you love what we do here, become a part of our free community, Color Me Happy. We have grown the community to support our members with features and interviews. Our link is in the notes. Thank you for being here. I sure do appreciate your time. Hello, welcome to Color Me Happy podcast. My name is Brandi Hofer, your host. Thank you so much for being here today. I sure do appreciate your time. Today we have Michelle on, and it's such a good conversation. We talk about being our authentic selves, traveling when we were young, and how that was a really empowering experience. And then we really talked about our creative incomes, tax things, partnering with businesses, and partnering with nonprofits and supporting yourself in that way, and getting out there in your community as a creative. So I think you'll find a lot of really helpful answers. We learned a lot about Michelle and her journey, and how parenthood can impact your creative style and process, and how to balance that. So thank you so much for being here. Be sure to check out and join our Color Me Happy community. It is free. We have weekly art challenges every Friday, and then we feature our members on our podcast, our Color Me Happy podcast, which you're here, so you know about that. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out at Brandi Hofer Studios on Instagram. I'm happy to chat anytime. And I have to go because Teddy's calling. So have the greatest weekend, and thanks for being here. How did you find the Art Queen community?
I think it was 2.5 years ago now. And a friend of mine who I went to art school with, we reconnected, and she told me about the community. And it was really what I needed, because I kind of took this long break from my art because I didn't have that business side. I started out straight out of art school. I moved to New Zealand and started kind of a career in showing my work and doing commissions and that kind of stuff. And then when I moved away, I was there for 3 years, and I moved away. And since then, it was just felt daunting to rebuild a business and not knowing where to start with, even like applying to things. So with the Art Queens, it was huge in giving me support, but then also seeing all these incredible artists like yourself, and like feeling inspired. Like, there's so many different opportunities and ways to go about a career as a creative. So that just got me started. I started building my website and haven't stopped since.
Good for you. So what took you to, so where did you go to art school?
In Georgia.
In Georgia?
I went to
and then what took you
a little bit.
What took you to New Zealand? Like, that's a hop, a skip, and a jump.
I know. I studied abroad, so I just really wanted to get out of into a new space, go abroad somewhere. And they have a working visa where you can just go and do anything. Like, I wouldn't have to go and teach English or something like that. So I ended up working in a bar and being a painter. And I have an aunt who lives there as well.
Oh,
So
nice.
She was the one who told me about that visa. So it just seemed like the right thing to do. And then I loved it and didn't want to leave.
Yeah, for sure. New Zealand, it's so far, but I'm like, I want to go one day. It is very far. I like flew to Thailand, and I was like, I'm never doing a flight like that again. And but it just seems like a very gorgeous place. I was a member of a mastermind group, and one of the ladies, and I'm still in touch with her, Rebecca Holden, and just looks gorgeous. Like, just, yeah.
It really is. And I was in Wellington, which is a really good city for like art and music too. So there was a lot of opportunities, but you're on the coast and you can go to this rugged beach with nobody on it. It was just
A
really, really
dream,
incredible. Yeah.
just like everyone's dream life.
I know.
Creativity and a beach, right? Like that's what we picture when we close our eyes. Why'd you leave? Um, um, so yeah, sorry, I had a question about that leading up. But yeah, I guess oh yeah, I want to talk about traveling when you're young, because
Mhm.
that would have been before you were having kids and stuff, right?
Yeah, that was before. So straight out of college, I just kind of started my adult life there and figuring stuff out as like a young professional. And it was funny when I moved back to the States, it was such like a reverse culture shock. So it took a long time to get back into things again. But um, I'm so grateful that I did it. And I really would like to bring my whole family there and do more traveling as a mom now, but that's 5 tickets. And I'm sure you understand, like, that's
Yeah, we
so
just talked
expensive.
about that
Yeah,
at the beginning. Didn't think about 5 and traveling and hotel rooms, like, and now they're getting big. So you're like, you could use 2 hotel rooms. So that's double everything. And yeah, New Zealand ticket times 5 is something special.
I
So,
know. But
um,
it would be so cool to like be able to bring them and kind of show them around such a beautiful place.
yeah, a lot of people do that when their kids are like your age, because it's like before they're going to school. Like my friend, we met some people in Hawaii doing that, and then my friend Shannon is doing it currently with her 2 little girls, and it's I'm sure it's very hard, but living out of a van, but they're doing it and they get to see neat places and do cool things in Europe. So I
Oh, that's
mean, it's
amazing.
possible. It's totally
Yeah,
possible. The bucket list family does it,
yeah,
but I'm so grateful and like you that I did travel and do art things and residencies before I had kids, because I feel like I've experienced it, I have a taste for it, I know what it's like. So you know what, like you're not, and you have like this like exposure to the world, you have a sense of independence, right?
exactly.
And you're not like lacking at anything by the time you hit like motherhood. You're kind of like, I know myself a bit better from those experiences, and I feel like an adult and ready to, step into this next stage and season of my life, and then maybe revisit this again later and have the confidence to do so. Was it an empowering experience to travel at that age? Like, because you were alone, right? Like it was
Yeah.
probably very scary.
It was. I feel like I've always kind of had that free spirit and don't think things through until I'm doing it.
Right.
But
I'm
um,
there with you on
yeah,
that.
for sure. I do agree that it was very empowering because it shows you what you can do. Like just even changing airplanes and not knowing like
Where
what
you're going? Yeah.
yeah, and then like being in a country and not be able to understand their culture, like sometimes the language. But yeah, it was,
Navigation, like I was traveling before Google Maps, guys.
yeah, totally.
They had just come out. What by the time they were like, I couldn't get it in Europe because something about like the iPhone had just come out, and I did have it in Montreal, which was nice, like doing an art project there, but not in Europe, and it really would have helped in Europe a lot. I was lost in Venice pretty hard.
Oh my gosh.
There was a water taxi strike, and apparently I wouldn't know because I never got to take one. That's how you get around in Venice, because it's so twisty turny and everything looks the same. We were lost for like 4 hours with suitcases. It was horrible.
Oh, that's so stressful. And then everyone
Yeah.
speaking Italian.
Yeah. Navigating now, easy. I would say. Like, your cell phone works anywhere, and you have a map with a dot and an arrow, right? Yeah.
Yeah. So
But
we
it's
survived it
good.
all.
Yeah, it's a good thing. I think to you treasure your independence, I think, a little bit more. I was with my partner then, and he was fine with me going. And it was a good experience for us too, as like a couple, like to be apart and both be fine with it. Like I liked it better. There wasn't that element of like being single to it. Like that's not what I was looking for. I was just looking for the cultural experience and the art experience.
Yeah. I was single when I traveled, and I felt like it was helpful because um I met some other Americans and then some people who were traveling through New Zealand, and they were traveling with their partner. So they didn't get quite the same experience because I had nobody. So I had to just like immerse myself in the locals.
Yeah, sorry, he didn't
Um,
come with me. That's what I
okay,
mean.
yeah. So
Yeah,
that's
he
the,
wasn't with me. Like
so you're
traveling
doing the same
alone
thing.
is so cool.
Yeah.
Right? Like talk about traveling alone, and then I'll add in what I feel.
Okay. Yeah, I just feel like people just really opened their homes to me. It felt like I was like being adopted like by my friends' families and stuff, where I just learned a lot about like natural medicine and just
Cool.
like remedies that you never hear about. So, and like cooking with their parents and stuff, learning new recipes from all over the world because there's like a huge like Asian culture there too. And then learning about the Maori culture. So it was just really beautiful to make those deep connections, and it just opened my mind to so many things. And I do feel um like that confidence, if I can do this, I can do anything. Like I can travel the world by myself kind of thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it is. It's so empowering. I met so many cool people, and like I got interviewed on CBC because of this woman I met in a restaurant who was volunteering at this one restaurant, and she's like, why don't you come on CBC? And like there was so many cool uh like you're just more approachable or something when you're not with a traveling partner. And you're just way more likely to make new friends and meet new people. And yeah, they like adopt you into like I was in Montreal, they just had me as part of their biker gang.
That's
And like
awesome.
day 2 in Montreal, here I am. And like I had never ridden a road bike, let alone in like I'm from a smaller place where we drive because there's too much snow.
Oh my
It's
God.
not a very transient community in that sense because it's like windy most of the summer. Biking's not that fun. It is fun, but not as fun as it is in Montreal. And there's like bike lanes. So like day 2, he's like, here's a bike. Come on, we're going to the fireworks tonight. And I was like, And so like 3 p.m. in the afternoon, rush hour traffic, I'm like following Andrew through Montreal, and I was like, oh my gosh. But then like a week later, I was doing the same thing alone and going up hills that I couldn't climb up at the end of it all, and like with a bike, and I felt strong. And like now we're going back to Montreal as a family, and I'm like so excited to experience it through the kids' eyes because it's such a cool city, and I can't wait for them to see it. Like it's just, yeah, I would advise anyone in their life to travel alone. Like be as safe as possible, but don't be afraid to travel
Right. Yeah.
alone. Yeah, you discover who you are and
Hmm.
what you're capable of. Like, yeah, now I'm like, I wonder if kids can bike in Montreal, like through the bike lanes. We'll rent bikes. It'll be fun because I take them biking for like 4 or 5 kilometers every morning. So I don't see why they couldn't bike in
Oh,
Montreal.
perfect.
They'll just have to put their
Yeah.
listening caps on.
That is so exciting though to see it through their eyes.
Yeah.
I love that part about motherhood.
It's my favorite part. And I talked about that on the podcast that released today with author Tasha Hilderman. It's like, because she gets inspired to write her like books, and through like magical experiences with her children, like because children have these like really cool imaginations, and especially when we create like that authenticity when they like approach, when you're creating together, which I've seen you do with your kids, like they're there. They're not
Yeah.
going anywhere. If you want to create, they're around, right? Um, how do you feel about that? Like, does being a mother impact your creativity?
I feel like it is hard to find that time. Like I would have them do like the backgrounds of my pieces. So they get excited when they can do like mommy paints. I don't have like a good spot. Like I love how you have it set up where you can paint on the floor and that kind of stuff. It's really inspiring. So sometimes I'm just trying to keep them out of my paints.
Yeah.
But I think it's like really cool for them to just be immersed in like a creative environment. And then like even my last collection I did was based on prisms, and it was the little rainbows that come from the crystals in the windows and stuff. My grandparents had that. So a lot of my work's about nostalgia and those beautiful childhood memories that I have that are just like seeing it come full circle with my own children. Like my grandparents, my ancestors are here with us and looking over our family, and then they're seeing like this beautiful magic in the rainbows and just seeing like the present moment and how cool things are. um I think is nice to be able to get their viewpoints and then be able to share that with others through art. So with my last collection I did the prisms, kind of trying to show a side of like mental health as well, where you can stop and see the small, beautiful things that the children can still see and that go out of our minds as adults.
Yeah.
And I collaborated with a youth program that does art for mental health too. So that was so cool. I got
Oh,
to
neat.
Yeah, I taught them a workshop where they all did watercolors of prisms and they had their own flair and style and like how they see it. And then I framed all the kids' work. So like as you're coming in, it just made it this beautiful like community event for the show that I just had. So that was just like incredible to be able to like have both worlds. Like I don't have to choose like this is my professional world and then this is my motherhood world. They can all be a part of it, and my kids' art was on the wall and stuff like that too. So
Mm-hmm.
and you really inspired me too, because I love how you work with so many nonprofits and like you're doing the gala and that kind of stuff. So I think that just brings so much more depth to our art, is to be able to give back and build
When you
that.
impact community in a way, like it's such a I yes, I encourage any creatives and artists to find those connections with nonprofit organizations or within schools. Hi. Because it is so it's just it makes it about more than you. And I feel like the art world for a long time, and still probably to this day, doesn't quite embrace that. They're like, if you're doing those things, you're not really considered a professional artist that can like exhibit in New York or something, right? Or
Mm-hmm.
whatever. But let me tell you, nonprofits in my community have supported my art tenfold comparatively to showing in New York, right? Like every opportunity means something different. And I don't think you should discount something because you're working with your community. Like that's the snobbery I hate about perceptions in the art world. And yeah, you can have one. And it's just, you're right. Like they should be combined. And I hope that I'm, empowering other creatives to do that. Like parenthood can be part of your creative process, or you're not just this one thing. You're a spectrum. You are of a person. We're multifaceted. And however you support your creativity and your family, I think you should go with what works. And yes, I encourage anyone to find those community connections, because it's so powerful. And yeah, it's been like the honor of my life to work with a lot of nonprofits, but you have to find the right people and make those right partnerships, because those opportunities only happen because I do have those few people who really believe in what I do, like, and they're my friends and they're my supporters, and they're just so wonderful to me. And like for this one what I want to talk about too in that regard, every opportunity that I've had with a nonprofit, or any organization, or any corporate or business connection, I've asked for it. I've just like flat out like emailed, called, like they might know who I am already because of my community. But like this opportunity tonight, I phoned the CEO, and I was like, I love the theme for this evening's gala. And galas and stuff and fundraisers always ask me for art. Like that's a normal thing for the like silent auction portions. But I only will donate prints. And this actually was asked in the Queens a couple times, and I've like answered.
Yeah, it was me.
What is it? Yeah.
Yeah,
So
I was just asking.
I always give prints because you never know what they're going to go for. And what I do is I ask a local framer to donate a nice frame, and then they'll go for more because they're presented really well. And sorry, that chicken's peeping. If you could just take care of it, that would be super. That little guy? Yeah. I'm sorry, in the middle of we have a sick
little baby.
We have a sick baby chick. Okay, so, and it's really distracting me. I'm like, my mind has been like half there the whole time. Sorry, Michelle. So how galas work. So for this one in particular, because I know live auction items go really well. So and a lot of times they can give you a charitable donation receipt for the value of your art, and then they take the rest, the profits made in the live portion of the auction. So this one is framed by a local framer. They're donating the frame, so they mentioned the framer and you as well. So I'm finishing it live, which is a great thing for an event, right? It's really fun for everyone, and it's great exposure. And so I'm compensated with a charitable donation receipt. I've gotten a lot of exposure, and they're getting prints from me. So I know monetarily and like for tax purposes, I'm covered really well. Like I'm not just like, I'm donating my time and my efforts and the original piece, right? But it's a partnership, and I feel like I'm getting a lot out of it, and they feel like they're getting a lot out of it as well, right? And we could we usually get a table anyway. And so we are going with our friends, and it just makes the event more fun for me too. And so I asked them, I said, I love your theme. Can I make a piece to go sit with Dad? Carly, I love your theme. I have an idea for a piece. Can I do it for the live auction? And then I'm in their catalog, then I'm announced on stage. Like there's a lot more exposure and opportunity in that area. So
what can you explain a little more about the charitable donation receipt?
Yeah, the CDRs.
Do you get paid by that, or is it just like for taxes?
It's for taxes. So I actually don't really know how it works, but I know it's a good thing.
Yeah.
I know it's a good thing. The accountant, trust me, I've asked too, and he's explained it to me in a couple different ways. But like I always donate every year to offset my net profits, and it helps. So then you end up somehow not paying as many taxes on your
Yeah.
profits, which is great for us because we're not paying taxes throughout the year on our sales, right? So by tax season, you're like, oh, I've made this much, and I've like my expenses are this and whatever. But that charitable donation receipt really helps. So if you're donating to anything, make sure you're getting that charitable donation receipt, as well as an incentive for your collectors. Here's another tax tip. Incentive for your collectors. They can count your, like if it's their home office or whatever, like they can submit your receipts for your art as an expense for their business, home office, or whatever their business is. It works really well too. So
Oh, that's amazing. Yeah, that's really
yeah,
good to be able to share an incentive for them. But I like
yeah, which I
also how
should
you're
share more
saying,
often.
I like how
Speaking
you were
of,
saying too about how when you are working with those nonprofits and stuff, it's a beneficial, like mutually beneficial. It's not like you're
it's
just
a
like
partnership.
giving and feeling drained from like that type of giving, you know?
Yeah, if I'm
Um,
creating an original, which takes months, like I am going to, like it better be for, like, because I give a lot, I donate tons. So my donation cup is really full. Hold on one sec. Carly, you gotta, oh, you were already watching it? Can you help Teddy out or watch him? They're usually not here. I don't know why they are. Oh, my husband has to go use the washroom. Of course. Typical.
of course.
Yeah. There you go. Yeah. Yeah. Like, so giving is important, but you're not able to grow if you're not supporting yourself financially. Like, right,
Mhm.
being giving is great and it should be one of your goals, but also feeding your family and being
Yeah.
financially independent and having your business actually generate income is what I'm really like. I'm working on growing that side of like the education for my art business because I just want to empower other creatives to diversify their income so they have, you know, 5 to 8 income streams and then they can support themselves and not be so dependent on that one art sale thing. Because I did that for like a decade and it wasn't working. And I was
Right.
selling like 6 to 8 pieces a month, custom artworks. So,
Yeah.
Teddy, can you turn it way down, buddy? So, and I was totally burnt out from that.
Mm-hmm. It's
Yeah.
easy to get burnt out so quickly.
Well,
So I
with
feel like,
kids, yeah.
yeah, I feel like I'm like constantly going back and forth. Like even right now, I'm like kind of in a like one week I'm inspired and one week I'm burnt out. And it's just like kind of on the edge of getting too much where I feel like I need to pull back a little bit. So it's so important for us to kind of protect our energy in that way.
Yeah. But sometimes too, and let's talk about burnout. Like I did take a lot of time off from custom artwork, so that helped. But it also built my collector base. So that season of custom artwork, like all those people come back. Those are your best clients. So
Yeah.
it's not all for nothing. They're wonderful people and they cherish their pieces because a lot of times they're like little kids or people who have passed away. So they're really treasured pieces and the families always recommend to other people in the family. So it's a really great way if you're just starting out to build your collector base. So there's a positives to that. I just did it like it just got really popular really fast when I did it. My art consultant's like, let's focus on that. And It just like exploded. And then so I wrote a book instead. And then I started the podcast and started like, some different outlets, and then built them up as income streams. And then the pressure wasn't off the art, and education really helped as well. Getting into the schools and going there a couple times a week and working with the children fills my cup, fills their cup. It's very fun. Like, it's sometimes the most fun I have in a week is working with them. And I wasn't expecting that, because I avoided education and teaching because of that limiting belief is I'm not a serious artist if I'm a teacher, right? Or an educator.
Yeah.
And
like style.
It's like, where does that come from? Why? And a lot of artists feel that way. It was art school. And then it was nice to alleviate all that pressure on the creativity. And now I just create, and if I sell art, it's a great bonus, like, because I have those passive income streams set up. But the thing about burnout is, and a lot of times I don't feel like creating because I'm so tired, and I'm sure you feel the same way. But when I do show up, sometimes I show up anyway. Like last night, I had to finish the piece because the event is today. So pretty big deal. Like, I have to photograph it. I still have to scan it. I have not scanned it yet. That's on my to-do list. But and document it before it goes off to the collector for prints and stuff. And I showed up anyway, even though I was super tired. I was already in my robe, like I was super ready for bed. And like, even though I was burnt out, I still felt the magic, and I was glad I showed up anyway. And so with motherhood and routine, and I have like a free download for this actually is and kind of my books about it, and I have a course on it, like a mini course, weaving in and out of time as like a parent and a mother, and finding those times for creativity, because it can be only 15-minute intervals. And especially with the age your kids are at, like, you do have to like shift gears, and it's hard for the mind, but your kids are probably in bed pretty early.
Yeah, that has kind of where I've gotten, because for a while I was able to work it into the daytime and some of our routines, but at the moment we do like 7:30 bedtime. They stay up and yell in there for a little while.
Yeah.
But
that's the best time to grab your tea, even though you don't want to. Every night,
I know.
Every night I would go into the studio at like 7:30, 7:45. I would also nap with them during the day, by the way. If they were all napping, I was like, I am napping. So I had enough energy like for an hour's worth of creating at night. That's how I got all those custom artworks done. Like, that was a stage where I was doing custom artwork. Like I said, 6 to 8 pieces per month. So it is a lot of time to create. I would grab my chamomile tea and head in there, even though I was tired. I did it anyway because I was on deadlines. And I was so happy that I did, because it felt magical, and I did connect to my creativity. And if I hadn't stuck with that routine, and it's so important to have routine with little kids, especially for them, like, they know what to expect. They know when they're going to bed. They know when nap is. They know when they're eating. Like, that routine is like the secret sauce to being a creative parent.
Yeah, it's so true. And I do feel like also, like, the deadlines are like, we have to just do it. But when I've done the like the art queens would do like 100 days of painting, that took so much pressure off to like be able to just get something small out, but I'm still creating. So some would turn out like amazing, and other ones would be not, like, I wouldn't feel good about it, but at least I wouldn't.
A gift to a friend.
What's that?
A gift to a good friend with a note on the back.
Yeah.
Here's a mediocre piece of artwork.
I don't like this one, but maybe you will.
Yeah. Sometimes I include them in collections anyways, because sometimes the pieces I don't like, other people like love. And I'm like, I was not expecting that.
Yeah,
So weird.
I know.
But yeah, goals and deadlines really help
Mhm.
art challenges. Like in our Color Me Happy community, we have an art challenge every Friday. And then spring sketchbook, our sketchbook project every spring. It just that one's really nice for you and your kids. But like creating's creating, no matter what you're doing. If you're selling it or you're not selling it, it's like
Yeah,
the work you do in your sketchbook or in your 100-day challenge, like that will feed into the other artwork, like the pattern work, the colors that worked, or the happy accent that you want to create again somewhere else, right?
exactly. It just really keeps that momentum going.
Yeah. Okay, I want to ask you our final question. Can you describe, it's sponsored by Red Bicycle Communications. Can you describe your ideal perfect day? And you can be really creative with it, like you can be somewhere else.
Okay, yeah, I probably would be somewhere else. Let's see. Where do I want to go? Bali. Go to Bali with my whole
Have you been
family.
there before?
Yeah, and on my honeymoon.
Cool.
It's amazing. So we'd have this little villa and we would wake up and have coffees and like all the kids would paint with me. And it would just be like this morning light shining in. And we'd get a little bit of creative time and then head to the beach for the rest of the day, teach them surfing, be getting out in the water and eating really good food.
Some fresh seafood would be great.
Yeah, going to the cafes. There was one thing I had there where it was like a sauteed chicken on a stick and then they put the peanut sauce on. And like I've
Oh,
had it in restaurants here, but it's nothing like there. They had like the lemongrass flavors.
mm,
So food,
barbecue.
water, sunshine, and being with my family, painting in the morning, um, going in the swimming pool. That sounds like the life.
Yeah, it does. I've never been to Bali. It sounds amazing, though.
Hmm.
I'll meet you there.
Okay. We'll have
I know.
an
I
art
hope.
retreat.
Yeah, art retreat in Bali. Michelle and I are taking you.
Yes.
It's a family-friendly retreat. I've always wanted to do one of those
That would be
one day.
amazing.
Yeah. Thanks for coming on. Sorry about all the interruptions. This is
All
parenthood.
good.
It's the
Yeah.
way it goes. Where can everyone find you?
My website is michelleshultzstudio.com and I'm active on Instagram, Michelle Shultz Art. And also I have free coloring pages. I did make some like Mama and Me coloring pages. They're all
Cool.
different chakras. So it's the same chakra that you'd color. And like for the parents, it's more of like these flowers that I intuitively put with each chakra. And then for the kids, they're different animals. So you can kind of be working on the same thing, just really meditative connection practice. And you can find those at michelleshultzstudio.com/mama. And I made those right after my third was born because I wanted to like find that connection again with my two older ones. So
Aw.
I think it's really beautiful to be able to share that little moment that I was able to create for us.
Yeah, I will do some.
Yeah.
The boys will. Teddy likes coloring, so that's perfect.
Oh, good.
Well,
Yeah.
super nice to meet you, and we'll chat soon. I'm
Thank
happy to chat
you.
anytime. So,
Perfect.
yeah, have a great weekend.
Yeah.
If you're looking for some time for yourself to relax, release, and unwind, Oasis has the perfect space for you. They offer yoga and spin classes of all levels. Whether you are a beginner or advanced student, Oasis thrives on accommodating all aspects of the practice. Let their serene environment and gracious staff help you in your journey of peace, healing, and strength. Sign up online at www.oasishotyogastudio.com or by downloading the Oasis Hot Yoga Studio app. Feel like yourself. You deserve it. Thank you so much to our supporters and our community partners. We could not do this podcast and outreach and projects in our community without you. That is Red Bicycle Communications. They are so amazing. They uplift in so many ways in our community. Jill started her business and she talks about it on the podcast. So Jill Kelly, check out that first episode. She's come on a few times and empowered others along the way. So she's grown her own business and her vision, and she was even featured in the Toronto Star, I believe. Is that the right newspaper? Hopefully. It was very cool. It was a very cool business feature because she was like, I'm going to try this out in my community and we'll see if it works, and if it doesn't. And obviously it's been like probably more than a decade since, and they're doing really well, and they have founded the Women in Business Awards. So I'm very proud to be a partner with them. We have Nouveau Laser and Aesthetic Center. I love them so much. They make me feel good in my own skin. It's one of my biggest touch points and what I'm most self-conscious about. And I recently have been starting to get some of my tattoos removed that I got when I was 16 and 19. So obviously I didn't think those through, but it doesn't hurt, which was very cool and very surprising. So they are the only people locally who do tattoo removal, and of course, face treatments and a whole bunch of another like laser hair removal and an array of, you can do injections and a whole bunch of stuff. So check Nouveau out. We also have BioClean Disaster Services. They're so wonderful, and their mission is, I love their mission statements and their values. It's to uplift community through women and children. So what happened, and I remember talking to them about this when we initially partnered, is what happens when you empower females is they live a better life, and if they have children, then they raise better children, and that is the way that to empower community and growth and I guess like challenge the poverty cycle in a way. So so I love talking to them about that, and in our initial conversations of when they became a partner, and they have helped us along the way with mural washing and a lot of different projects around the city. So I love them so much, and they do a wonderful job because, I mean, it's for usually, like if your basement got a flood for some strange reason, like that's your most vulnerable time in your life, and they're there for you to help you through and ease any situation or help you in any way, because that is like when stuff like that happens, it's so like it's so frustrating. So they support people in that journey. And then we have Oasis and Hot Yoga Spin Studio, safe space for you to rest your mind and gain more energy and come back to yourself again. So I love it there. It's always been, it's a beautiful space. They have gorgeous plants, and it'll just refresh you and revitalize you. We're so lucky to have them in our community. Thank you so much for being here, and we'll chat with you soon, my friends.